Baby, I'm a good man, I'm a bad man. Baby, I'm a good man, I'm a bad man. Baby, I'm a good man, I'm a bad man. Baby, I'm a good man. Papa got a case of that big bag.
All right, 222 podcast
Whoa.
today, Dangertainment show.
All the way.
Hey, the simulation. We talking about danger today, simulation. We try to
You
flip
got
simulation on his back, flip it up.
Real quick, you believe in the simulation?
I believe we're in a simulation, man. I'm gonna say I believe we're in a simulation to the point. It's hard to you know put a word on it. I'm gonna say put a word on it. We use the word simulation, but that's the word we use it to describe it. We can say it's God's simulation. That's what I'm saying. Whose simulation could be God's creation? God's creation could be a simulation.
Facts, man.
But it's a creation. Now,
exactly.
That's the word. Are we in a creation?
I feel
we're
you.
in a creation.
I feel you, but I think it's truly a simulation because you as you get older, you start to notice patterns on how we live as humans. You know, like every simulation has rules. There is boundaries. You know. There is places that you don't close, right? Yeah. And there is these memories that are given to you as you take part to what you're supposed to do, right? Let's say, for example, as you get older, right? Like there is a lot of things that didn't make sense when you were a kid, and then somebody had to program this into your memory and say this is how you to live, right? Different backgrounds, different ethnicity. People live differently. Like, let's say, for example, as a kid that grew up in Asia, right? Yeah. You got to know that from the minute you step out of you come to home, you got to take off your shoes. Right?
I used to do that in the U.S. too. I mean, I used to do that, not in the U.S., but I used to do that at my house.
I feel you.
And I would tell people, look, you got to take your shoes off before you
the
go
minute
in the
you
house.
step out.
And I told my dad that. And my dad said, I wouldn't have the nerve to tell my dad to take his shoes off when he come in the house. I said, I tell everybody that.
It's not on you.
Yeah, it ain't about, about that, but
Like I was saying, like you get to see these programs that becomes your day-to-day reality, right? Like kids in Africa, like you know for a fact that the minute you wake up, the first thing you do is you got to find your mom, you know, for a certain reason. Like you got to be, mom, where you were, you know, because you know that she got to be around. Like if you grew up with her, right? Like it's a part of you to know that she got all answers to what you're gonna do throughout the day, right? Yeah. Like if she don't say nothing, you're gonna do nothing, right? Yeah. And as you get older, things start to change. You start to get introduced to these other programs. Like they start to tell you every single day, this is how you to behave, right? Like one of the things that freaks me out is about the school, right? Yeah. Because the people that came up with an idea of school, you got to understand that they understood that it's not about, like you don't need school to live. Like this is fact. Like you don't need school to go through life. No. And do something, you know, because we have this maternal knowledge, right? Yeah. That we're given as we grow up. Like it's a part of our DNA, right? Yeah. But the school is a part is what was supposed to make sure that the program is being passed on from everybody, from one person to the other. Like everybody has to get a part of
on
it.
The same picture, on the same. It's like putting everybody on the same.
Exactly.
And that's what television is called. Television is called programming. When you watch television, it's called television program.
Exactly.
Programming.
So it has to do what?
Yeah, it has to program you. It has to create that pattern so we all follow the same pattern. Now, the thing is, did you know quantum physics?
Yeah. I've heard that. I don't know much about it, but I've heard some.
Quantum physics. That's when they start seeing certain things. When you start talking about quantum physics, you start to see certain things that allude to a simulation. Like, do you know atoms? They shot atoms through a slit, right?
Yeah, I've seen some.
You've seen it on the Western.
Exactly.
They were shooting atoms through the slit. Do you know when the atoms are observed? And you showed me some. You sent me something.
Yeah,
I sent you some
of it. Yeah.
I read a whole book on quantum physics, right? I read a whole book, so I know a lot of the names that created it, like the Heisenberg principle, which is like 50-50. It's a 50-50 chance the atom is going to be here. A 50-50 is going to be here. So that tells you nothing in the quantum world is a set thing. It could be here, it could be there.
Exactly.
You can't even tell what's going to be. You can't predict where it's going to be at. So we think this world is a set picture, but underneath this world, it's not set. Nothing is set. So if you take the particle, like he said, you seen it shoot the particles through the slit. if you looking at it, the particle does one thing.
They're going to do the spread.
The particle going to act like it's a wave. The particle
is going to have the wave, the wave factor.
If it's a particle, it's if you look at it, it's going to pretend like it's a particle.
Exactly.
If you don't look at it, it's going to be a wave. So even if you put a device there and say, "I'm gonna observe it," and the particle shoot through the slit,
it's going to know.
It's going to know that you put that device there to look at them. So the particles know when they being looked at. That's conscious thought. Not even conscious thought. We ain't even gonna say conscious thought. That's something that is trying to hide itself. That's a part of a program. So it's saying we can't let them see this.
Exactly.
So when they put something here to detect this, it's written into the program that we got to change. It changes
quicker.
And even if you seen it, even if you shoot it, you turn the detector off. The detector is turned off. You turn the observation device off, and you shoot it through there, and you pretend like you're not going to observe it. It goes through as waves.
It's going to have
the
wave
after
effect.
you shoot it through the slit, before it hit the wall, if you turned it on,
it's going to switch
turn back to particles on you, and it records coming through as particles. So that shit go back in time.
Man, that's
Do you understand
scary. You don't even see it.
It's going back in time. So before you turned the device on, it was waves, and it was recorded as waves. But when you went and turned the device on before it hit the wall, it changed.
It will go straight.
It recorded like a video camera. That's like you running through the video camera.
So you tell me it's gonna stop time?
And then I look at you. You was running through the video camera. The footage that was before changes to what you wanted me to see.
And that's the freakiest shit of them all. Because you got to understand that the camera, the camera lens is not gonna see it though. It goes backward. What it turn backwards, right? Because as soon as you turn on the machine, to observe it, right? Even though it was close through the slit, you weren't gonna see it, but it's just gonna turn because it's gonna now somebody's watching.
It's gonna turn and it's gonna say, it wasn't a wave when it came through. It was a particle. You thought you saw a wave, but it was a particle.
Now that's what gives me goosebumps, man. Because when you think about it, that's something you have to wake up and understand that there is something bigger in play, more than what we see. You know, because we only see the surface, right? People will tell you that, okay, I believe everything that is written. You know, the theory will always be the theory, right? Everybody that has learned theory, let it be about science, let it be about mathematicians, right? Whenever they got to put in practice, right? It's another different. It's another different world, right? Why? Because until you see things take place, all you thought you knew changes. That's one thing I wanted to talk about on people who choose to live to perception. Have you ever heard of the theory between about perception and versus perspective, right? So a lot of people will live with what? With the perception, you know, of reality, what we see, what we believe this is, you know, what we are told. You know, I wake up in the morning and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna go to see one of my homies, and this is how the day is gonna go. That's what I perceive it to be, right? But the minute I step out of my own reality and see things on how they can go, how million ways on how this can change, I'm going to start to have, you know, a broad way, you know, understanding of this world that I'm living in. You know, most of people, since the program has been embedded in their memory for a long period of time, they don't want anything different. You know, you even try to tell him, you say, what do you think about this? He said, no, I don't want to know nothing about this. Because they've been told from a minute that this is all you need to know. Do not ask questions. Live like this, believe this. Anything beyond this is not for you. So once you start to live like this, then you become a bad. You know, you've been told, okay, this is all you can do. But apart from this, there is no intelligence. That's right. You know, because in order for something to have the intelligences, it has to see things and calculate things on its own understanding and pass its own understanding, right? But if you are told every single day that this is who you are, as far as you see the road, that's as far as you can go, right?
As you can go.
But does that stop to? It doesn't mean that there is nothing. There is nothing above, right? There is something. There is always going to be something more to this, right? So when we talk about this simulation, right, there is a lot of evidence that are showing people that there is something deeper than this.
Yeah, something.
You know, every medicine. One thing that scares me is this: how is it that everything that we know, we learn it from somebody else, right?
Exactly.
Before we talked about all this computer energy and everything, right? let's take it back to medieval time, right? People used only the natural resources, right?
Yeah.
They used candles for the light. They used fire to cook. Everything was just simple, right? Now, how they come up to this technology? Don't you ever ask yourself this? How does a single guy wake up in the middle of nowhere and say, you know what? I believe we can have electricity.
Yeah.
So in order for you to think about something, you have to have a notion of that idea,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
nothing comes out of anywhere.
And a lot of the things came in a short period. It was like dark ages, and then in a short period,
Less than 200 years.
things pushed up the TV. All this stuff came in a short period. TV, computer, everything jumped up in a short period.
How are you telling me, right? How are you telling me? People believe that the civilization grows based on people's understanding, right? And it can take as much time as it needs for people to get to where they need to go, right? For the technology to advance, right? But how is it that in less than 200 years? No, forget about this 200 years. When you think about a console, the gaming console, right? From the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw a PlayStation 1. No, forget about Game Boys, right?
Game Boy.
Everything was brick games. Every single one of them was brick games, right?
Every
It was
single
just
one was brick
bricks
game.
going up and down. You got to shoot them with another brick that looks like a gun, right?
Yeah.
In less than 24 years, the whole reality of gaming is even better than reality itself, right? And then when you got to talk about the VR, the virtual reality, right? And only in 24 years, right? So the thing that scares me the most is how does an individual, right? We say we grow from what we know, right? If we have no knowledge about something, then it's dead to us. It does not exist, right? So how you grow, how you go from 0 to 1,000 that fast. Like somebody has to have the knowledge of what's going on.
That's why some people say they think it was aliens. Some people say they think aliens had to do with it. They got alien technology from somewhere.
Gee, if we can do this in 24 years, right? If we can advance this quick in 24 years, right? How you telling me that those that came before us, before BC, right? People, they say Earth is, how old is Earth? They say our planet is way older than a million years, right?
Yeah.
So you telling me for a million years, right? Nobody had an idea on how to advance to what we are on today. It just took us less than 200 years to go from dark age to what we see today.
But that's why they say you never know. Like you said, all you know is what you're being told. So one dude told me one time, he was like the moon. He said it's hollow on the inside. It's people living in the moon.
I'm telling you, man.
And look, and I was like, and I thought about it for a second. Because your initial reaction, now this dude was a military dude. He also told me he thought the earth was flat. And you heard that before.
I've heard that.
And he said, and I said, the earth is flat? And I was thinking about it, because you know, it's a conspiracy. People say flat
again
earth
and again,
theory.
yeah.
But he said planes never fly over the West Coast. Like if you if you take a flight to Africa, even if you in California,
you go
gonna
the
fly
other way.
It seemed like it would be closer. Even China, Japan, you will not fly over the Atlantic Ocean. You always, and this is a military guy. Now this guy is a military, was in doing operations in different places.
I feel you. Yeah.
And he had came to Africa. He was like, man, we never fly over the Atlantic Ocean. I don't care where we go. We go to China, we go to Japan, we go to Russia. We always fly this way. He said, why is that? He said, the earth, he said, I believe the earth is flat. He said, because we never, now this is a military dude. Now he also told me that he thought somebody was living in a mule. He said it was another civilization that before us, because you was just talking about in a billion years. He said it was a civilization before us that had went to the moon and was living inside the moon. And you know, that's what started me thinking. I said, you know what? You right, nigga. Because I don't know what's on the moon.
I'm telling you,
I don't know what's on the moon.
You know what's scary
though?
Yo, so you got to say that again though. You got to say that one more time.
Yeah.
He was arranging some shit. What you said is so powerful. When you start talking about the dude that tell you this, he was arranging something. So I don't want us to miss this footage. You got to say
as far as the people being on the moon.
Yeah, you know, when you say, I had a homie who was telling me that there were people who living on the moon. He was adjusting something.
He told me it was people living on the moon. He said the moon was hollow. He said they had video where something dropped on the moon and it made a sound. Boom. He said it like the moon was hollow, like it made a sound when the thing dropped on the
God.
moon. It said boom, like it's hollow. It's nothing inside. It's space inside
I'm
of it.
telling you, man.
And I was like, I said, man, you know what? You right, because I don't know what's on the moon.
On everything.
All I know is what somebody told me what was on the moon.
What they say was on the moon?
Yeah, they said
say
nothing on the moon.
They say
Yeah, but that's all I know is what somebody told me. I don't know what's on the moon.
that's what I'm trying to tell you, because you got to think about this, Gene, right? How they say they went on the moon. Long time ago,
Yeah.
right?
Well, some people say they never went.
Oh, so okay, let's say they
Some
never
people
went,
never
right?
went.
But you got to picture this. Okay, let's say they never went, right? How is it that today nobody's thinking about going to the moon again?
Exactly. That's the thing. That's what some people said they didn't. Some people said U.S. lies said they didn't go to the moon. You know, they got the thing where the flag.
Yeah,
was
they
waving
planned the whole thing in the Hollywood studio.
Yeah, but the thing is, why has nobody been back to the moon?
I'm telling you, they saw some shit. Let me, two ways. I think we got two theories, right? One, either way they went there, they found out it's a place that you're not gonna fuck with.
Nigga said, don't bring your motherfucking ass back here.
No
You
more.
bring your
right?
ass back here, we gonna do something to you.
Cause they telling you, right? All the other way around, nobody ever went there. Cause if you gonna tell me this, I've watched Neil. Neil talks about this thing a lot. He said people gonna tell you that they've been in space. That's not even space. That's just the tip of the atmosphere. You're still in outside of the atmosphere, right? Our own atmosphere. You've not even reached the deeper space, right? So how you tell me you gonna go to the moon with the technology that was using analog?
Less than a phone. They said a phone. They said they have more technology. They said it's more technology in the iPhone
that is
than it
in
was
an
the
iPhone.
shit they had to go to the fucking moon.
And the nigga
with.
took a flight to the moon. Man, this is what I've been telling you. There is programs being introduced to every single person's mind, everybody's mind, so that we can live like sheep in the field, you know? Because you got to think about it. Every single day that you used to spend on this planet, somebody had to teach you something. And they tell you, do not go against this, right? And nobody wants to actually give response to the questions that are being asked. You know, because they say, you know what, this is not for you to know. Why is it not for you to know? And then who is it for, right? Because you got to look back. Everybody's talking about pre-colonial, right? How the Catholic Church decided to colonize the whole world, right? But when they came, what now is being found today is they said that when these people came, they didn't come spreading the good news. These people came killing. Did you hear about the Pope spear? Man, they were doing all the sickest shit to people so that you can say, you know what, I'm following. I'm going to start getting this new program. You know, I'm going to start believing this, right? How is the Romans who denied Christ and decided to hang him are now the ones spreading the good news?
Exactly.
So, because they knew that if we go with this...
who was it? What was his name? Constantine. I think Constantine the one decided, look, we're gonna make the Bible, we're gonna turn
exactly, we're gonna flip all this,
yeah,
and then later on, when these Christian kings, the England kings and the French kings, they started to, everybody was bowing down before the Catholic Church, right? For one reason, because it had the influence across the globe, right? And they knew that if we follow these people, we can obtain the majority. We can have as many people as we can have all these people working for us, right? And anytime any war pops up, these are soldiers, these are free soldiers, right? But it had to be programmed into these people's mind, right? Because you're not going to pull out on somebody's show and then say, I bring good news. In one language, first of all.
The reason why it was done like that is because, one reason is because when Constantine, when they decided to push Christianity and Jesus' teaching, it wasn't for nothing good. It was to control people.
Exactly.
That was
man.
his intention. His intention was to control. Now that wasn't it. It wasn't because of Jesus' teaching.
It had nothing to do with it. But they say we have to have a cover up. You know, we have to have something that we have to use as a cover for what we are supposed to be doing, right? Exactly. Now, look, for all these years, nobody had courage to talk about this, and people have always known about this, right? But it was all about what the program, you know, because they tell you you're not allowed to say something about this, right? Today, as you were talking about the television program, saying that everything that is displayed in front of your eyes, right? It is washing your brain. Yeah, it's washing your brain slowly.
Live by any program. It's any program. We could change the whole program. We could say, look, we ain't the program now. Nobody fights. We ain't gonna do no war. This is a new program. We gonna do a program that. But that any program you want, we could change. We could make a different program. We're following a certain program. And nothing's linear.
See?
Nothing's linear. And what I mean by time isn't linear. Just like how do we know time isn't linear? We could change it. We might could change the program from the past right now. How do we know that? Because of the Mandela effect. Because of those
Man,
atoms.
when you go to Mandela effect,
because of those atoms, the atoms that we said changed.
The truth can
when
be,
you looked at the atoms, they changed their whole fucking past.
quicker than the motherfucker.
That tells you,
you don't even know
that
they
tells
did
you
it.
time ain't linear. Time ain't going in a straight line. Just like they made the movie. Everything, what's the movie called? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That's that movie called. It won an Oscar, I think.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, saying the past, the present, and the future is right now.
It's so here.
It's everything. It's we can't observe it, but everything is right here. And that's how the atoms, they can change their fucking past. So if things ain't linear, that means we can change. That's why the Mandela effect might. They talking about Jiffy peanut butter and Stouffer's. I swear I remember.
Tell me about the Jiffy, man.
Stovetop stuffing, man.
Tell me about the Jiffy peanut butter, though.
Because I remember asking my mom, I want some stovetop stuffing. Now they say stovetop stuffing was never existed.
It never existed, but you remember asking.
I remember. And they say Jiffy peanut butter never existed.
Nigga.
And they say, and what gets me, what's the one that gets me? Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Who the fairest of them all?
Who the fairest of them all?
I know we all watched
Everybody remembered. I remember mirror, mirror
on the wall.
And they say it's magic mirror.
Magic mirror. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you.
I never heard that magic mirror.
Once you know that everything that surrounds you is a program, right? You have the right to flip it as you want, right? It can be edited. It can be changed as you want.
I thought about that too. I said, man, the only way, I said, if this ain't a simulation, if something ain't amiss, if something ain't awry, they had to go back through all the Disney footage
and clean it,
edit it, and change it to magic.
They got the money.
They got to change it to magic, which is a possibility, but I think it's more. I think it's really time isn't linear. When you start looking at the atoms and how the atoms behave, time just isn't linear. Things can be the past. The whole past can be changed
quicker than you even know. Like that. But what freaks me out? Every simulation has glitches, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we're
That's
talking
what
about,
they're
right?
saying. The Mandela effect is a glitch. It's a glitch in the simulation.
Okay, step out of the Mandela effect. Even see the deja vu, right? Every single day, whenever you see something and you are 100% sure you've seen it, people will always tell you that you didn't. Yeah. But I know for a fact
you feel it.
Man, your whole body, right?
Like I've been here before. I've seen this before.
Man, your whole body will be in harmony that you've seen it, right? Even you feel it. You even know the taste of it, right? But how you telling me this is only a memory? Because I can look at a picture and say, okay, maybe I thought I saw something that looked like it, right? But how you gonna be to the point, specific, even to the taste of a certain bite, right? If you never had it before, because you did, but nobody is trying.
You don't understand how. It's a glitch.
Man, there is a glitch. Every simulation has a glitch.
And they said it's spreading. They said time. When you have that deja vu feeling, it's another universe being branched off, another timeline.
Always. And you know one thing that is so weird about it? How is it that to this day, up to this day, people are still convinced we're the only ones in the universe?
Exactly. Bro. But now they say that the reason why we haven't found aliens. The dude said the way the universe is set up, it said it should be thousands of different people just in this galaxy. The galaxy is huge. They said just in our galaxy, there should be thousands of different.
What does that remind you of?
And
GT.
They said why? Yeah, they said why haven't we found any? They said the reason because it ain't part of the simulation.
I'm telling you, man. Every single time you play in a game, before you pass from one level to the other, right? Some certain parts of that game are off to you. You know, they are off limits. There is it's the end of the game, right? Until you get a key to go to the next level, and once you're on the next level, then you see what comes next, right?
That's a good point.
It doesn't mean it's not there.
Point.
It's there,
that
right?
Might be what the simulation to wait for us to get to another level.
I'm telling
and
you,
then show us something different.
Niggas are talking about.
You gotta figure. it's a reason for the simulation. It's a reason God created this simulation. He wants to learn something. So everything, something he's trying to learn. Maybe he's trying to see who can go to the next level, like a Buddha, like a Jesus. Maybe he wants to see who can
reach
rise
enlightenment
to the next level. Because it's something that he wants you to do. Even in the Bible, it tells you have to rise above your nature. You have to rise above.
Exactly. What is
He's
it?
saying don't lust after women. You got to rise above chemicals in your programming. Your body is programming the lust after a woman.
Exactly. You got to get to the point and say.
So if you got to rise above the programming to lust after a woman, because that's part of simulation. Part of simulation is for you to lust after a woman.
Yeah.
So maybe God is trying to see who can rise above.
And then
who can rise above that programming, and then he might, you'd be a Buddha,
the enlightenment stage.
You're
I'm telling you, man.
Go to that next level.
I'm telling you, because when you see what people are telling you, there is a lot of evidence that things don't just appear in thin air, right? Out of nowhere, right? So there are certain things that we are looking at, and we are wondering, how the hell did this happen? How did we get from that to this, right? I was giving you an example of electricity. Man, no, you've never understood. In order for you to even comprehend the idea of creating electricity, right? You gotta have the idea of understanding about how the electrons and the protons work, right? Who told these niggas how this works? Because you're not gonna tell me a nigga stepped out of the hut and said, you know what, I'm tired of this candlelight. So there's been knowledge, right? There's been knowledge, and most of these people are getting chances to talk to somebody. And we don't know who that is.
And the knowledge, or it might be something projecting knowledge into your head or something.
I'm telling you, man.
Because they say, this ain't the base reality. Elon Musk said it ain't the base reality. Meaning that now we're to the point we can create a simulation. We can almost create a simulation in the computer.
We got a lot. Yeah, we got a lot.
And then that simulation in computer get to the point it
created
a simulation.
It created
so you got simulations going all the way down, getting to the point. And he said we are not in the base simulation. We're in a simulation somebody else created, and now we about to create another one.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, we're not in the base. We're not in the base simulation, because you got to understand this is not the best reality. I believe so. Because if this was best reality, right, we will be limited. But every single 24 hours, something else is coming out new. Nobody has ever heard of this before, right? But somebody is coming up with knowledge that you can't even comprehend. He is like you, right? He's a human being like you, right? So where you think he got that enlightenment from? There is somebody feeding or spraying some type of knowledge. When we reach to a certain point, they say, you know what, they can advance a little bit,
and they can implant the knowledge.
Hit him with it. Hit him with it.
Exactly.
Hit him with the internet. Hit him with the VR.
Put a frequency.
Exactly. Depending on how we're reacting to what we've been given before, right? Because whenever people talk about the great flood that destroyed everything, right? Even in the Bible talks about it, right? It has to have reached to a certain level that civilization get to where they were, what else is new? We've seen it all, right? Because when you hear the stories about the waterways, how people are used to communicate through the pyramids, right? It freaks you out, because you understand that these people have already understood what we know today 1,000,000 years ago, right?
But how is it? Waves look like what you call those signals? Look like Wi-Fi signals.
Exactly,
in
the wavelengths.
In the pyramids.
And I'm telling you, right? These people did this thousands of years ago, right? But how is it that from that time to today, right, we just now discovering this now, right? It's because I believe that human beings have done something in the past that was so evil to the point that the simulation had to say, you know what,
reset it.
Next time we're resetting everything, but next time we're gonna give them time.
All the time it might have been recessed. The Ice Age might have been a reset where they wiped the dinosaurs out. They might say reset.
I'm telling you,
this shit. The flood might have been a reset.
Because knowledge doesn't disappear, right?
It had to be. If it's a simulation, it's all been programmed.
It is though. It
was all intended.
I'm to the point where I no longer doubt it being a simulation, because it is. Look around you. Everything that surrounds you, it is all on a program, right? And who is in trouble? Everybody who chooses to step out of the program. Look at everybody who's always in trouble. They are the niggas who are going against the program. Whenever you decide to say, you know what, I no longer want to live like a sheep. I don't want to.
And look, just for you mentioned that, I had some notes on the computer. That shit just erased. That shit just erased.
I don't know.
You see, I put it erased. That's why I put the computer there.
Don't play with me.
No, oh God, it erased, man.
I saw
That's
you.
why I
You
put
have
it there.
pages.
I was looking. That's why I was looking for it.
You
Shit
have pages.
erased. On God, it erased. Nigga.
See?
That's why I put it down. And I was thinking, man, the simulation is that.
Welcome to the Dangertainment. Welcome to the Dangertainment.
It's real, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Certain stuff, but then you might be, it was a mistake.
It's
certain
not a
stuff
mistake.
Don't be mistakes.
It's
it be
not.
intended. It's something that is intended for.
Have you ever had this idea of the word, the root word? Every root word is supposed to be similar to what comes next, right? Let's say when you see when you hear the word coincidence, right? The word coincidence means two things appearing in the same at the same time, but having nothing to do with the other, right? But it can be, because to coincide, it means to exist in the same space, having a reason why you're there, right? So there is no such thing as what? Coincidence, right? Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. But since we're in the program, we are told you need luck. This is coincidence. This just some else, but it is not.
That's what FDR said. Franklin D. Roosevelt. He said, in politics, nothing is coincidence.
Nothing, man.
He said nothing is coincidence in politics, and that's just like Trump got shot. I don't think. Hey, what's the name said when Trump got shot? He was like, "That's how you know we in a simulation."
You know it. That one was how the nigga did.
The craziest shit, and that's what Elon Musk said. Elon Musk said, he said, the craziest thing that should happen, the craziest thing you could think of that should happen, that's what should happen. That's what's supposed to happen.
Check this out.
Check this out. You can think of.
I'm glad you brought the Trump thing up. Let me tell you this, and how it got to me that we're living in a simulation, right? This is the president of the United States of America, right? He's still president. They still call him Mr. President, even though he's a former. Anybody who's been a president, when you greet him, you say Mr. President, right? Because he had a title, right? You don't take him off just because he's off he's out of the office, right? He even still rolls with the Secret Service, right? How you telling me a kid out of nowhere
climbs up?
No, ignore climbing the building. He stepped in the crowd. He came around the area. I'm talking about whenever these niggas come to Africa, they shut down the whole city. Right? He was here. Obama was here, right?
Okay.
Obama came to Africa. When Obama came to Africa, the whole city was under lockdown. Because he got to pass somewhere. He got to go through somewhere. So you're not gonna risk putting this nigga in danger, right? This is a guy who's doing a campaign stand, right? Before that campaign, before they choose the spot where they put the president to do his campaign thing, he's already been vetted. Everybody knows that this nigga is gonna be here, right? So there is maximum security, right? So how you telling me a nigga with that's not a pistol, right? He didn't shoot a nigga with a pistol. That's a sniper. That's a sniper gun, right?
And somebody seen him. And people seen him, said, "Look, this dude climbing up the building."
They let a nigga keep climbing.
They let this dude climbing up the building. He got a rifle.
Oh, gee, they let a nigga keep climbing.
Yeah, they let him keep climbing.
Okay, he
part
gets
of
to the
simulation.
roof.
That's what the simulation was.
See, he get to the roof. He lay down. People are still seeing this nigga putting the former president of the United States in scope, and they're still saying it's all good.
Yeah, somebody told him.
Man, I'm telling you.
Dude said, "Man, I sat there and told them people
that this is happening."
The dude was,
and they did nothing about it, right? So this is what I was saying a few minutes ago. Whenever you get to the point where you trying to shift people's reality, they're gonna come for it, whether you like it or not, because you are trying to go against the program. Why do we have media? We have the TV, the program you're saying, and they say media. Media stands for manipulated entertainment to influence all, right? It is there to do that.
Exactly.
Every single thing that they put in the clips, talk about ads, talk about songs, talk about movies, talk about news. They will tell you what they need you to hear. Why is it that everything on news is always talking about bad things? Yeah. Because they want you to be in that despair, you know, where frequency. You feel like every single day I need to get up and hustle.
And that negative frequency.
Exactly, because they're gonna tell you what you got to be ready. Every single day when you wake up, you got to be ready, right? Survival of the fittest. If this was not a simulation, would we have a courts like this? Survival of the fittest?
Yeah.
No,
right.
because it's a game, man. Like
game.
you got to stay ready, right? Every single day. But if you go against the program, then they're gonna come for you, whether you like it or not.
You're
right?
You got to rise. It's somehow you got to rise. But I think you got to rise above the program. But it's a reason. That's what you got to think about. What is the intention of the program? What is the intention of the symbol?
To keep people asleep, man. I always think about it as to keep people in the loop. You know, because I another idea that always comes into mind is we doing the loop. That's why they tell you nothing is new under the sun. It's supposed to be. Because we're evolving, right?
Yeah.
The word evolves comes with something new, right? There has to be a change in the human life for you to say, I'm evolving, right? But why is it they say there is nothing new under the sun?
Nothing new under the sun.
Because we're on the loop. Yeah. We're on the time loop. What
right.
your ancestors did, you're doing today. In a different setup, but it's the same idea, right? So they don't want this. So because they don't want this, they gotta keep you in that simulation and say put boundaries around you.
Now you know. Even if you talk about a video game like GTA, a video game. If you go to the video game, which to do something you showed me one time. If you're looking, once you go to a certain part of the game, the game pixelates. You can't get to it.
Yeah.
You can't. What's the name? Now that's what they just won a Nobel Prize. The last Nobel Prize was won in physics. They proved that local causation was false. They proved that local causation was false, or non-local causation is entanglement. But anyway, they proved that local reality is false.
How though?
Local reality is false. Now these ones just won a Nobel Prize. They proved that if we're not sitting here looking at these microphones don't exist.
May not be.
They proved. Now they got the Nobel Prize for this. Now if we're not looking at this building, they say the building don't exist. It's not here.
Man, this is what
so that's a video game. So even if you think about it, if you think about, if I switch my head like this real quick, it's a lag. You say your eyes. Now we say our eyes are focusing. Now I say my eyes didn't focus that quick.
Quicker.
Now if I look around, it's a lag to where the picture becomes into what's the name.
Yeah, the way
it comes in. Now we say, well, my eyes take a while to focus. But what if it ain't your eyes taking a while to focus? The shit is rendering like a computer program. Now just look, it's rendering like a computer program. That's what they say the game. That's what the game does.
The game always has to render.
GTA,
yes.
It's got to render as you go. It's not always there.
The main character has to walk in. There has to be the same.
Behind this, we're not even looking at that balcony right there. It's not always there. If nobody's looking at it, it's not there until we walk out, and then the computer renders it. Now that's what they proved. That they proved this. Now you take. That's what they got a Nobel Prize for.
Come on, man.
That's what they got a Nobel Prize for. Now, if you take entanglement, you heard of entanglement before.
I heard about it.
Entanglement is when two molecules touch each other, and wherever you take them across the universe, the same thing happens to the other molecule.
Exactly.
Now, this is physics. Now, this has been proven. Entanglement has been proven. Now, this thing happens faster than the speed of light. Now, speed of light is supposed to be the
quickest,
the fastest you can go, the speed limit of the universe. Nothing can go faster than the speed of light. But the change in these molecules happens faster than the speed of light.
So which means
instantaneous.
It's reality itself.
That means they saying that the only thing that can break the program is the program, or the only thing that can go beyond the program. The program doesn't need to obey the speed of light. The program doesn't need to obey
because it's already
past,
bigger.
present, and future.
Nah.
Everything is here. It doesn't need to obey it. Everything is here all at once, so it can go to the past and change the past. It's like Mandela effect. The programmer say, "Hey, nah, that wasn't mirror on the wall. That was magic mirror on the wall."
Nigga, I might shoot y'all with it, but I feel
that we changed it. Yeah, so
this crazy.
When you start thinking about that, it's real. You gotta think about it, and that's why. And I know you know about this voodoo.
I know, man. I know.
That's why voodoo. That's why voodoo and stuff is real. Voodoo is based on entanglement. It ain't nothing but physics. When you take two molecules and you touch them together, they become entangled. Just like if I touch you, we supposed to be in. There's a certain amount of entanglement going on. So that's why when I yawn, you know, sometimes when you yawn and the next person yawns,
the next
it makes them yawn. That's entanglement. It's the same thing. A reaction that happened in me, it'll happen in you. That's crazy. And if you take two molecules. That's like if I take my hair. That's voodoo. If you take your hair and then they start doing stuff with the hair and burning the hair,
reaction
that's
will keep
voodoo.
on- the
It's an
reaction will-
entanglement going
it will
on.
react.
It's real. It's just that's what voodoo is based on. They always need something of the person's. They like,
See?
I need a person hair. I need
Exactly.
something
A
from 'em.
picture,
or even some
The
clothes or
yes,
something. It's
yes.
something that touch you.
Yes,
So the
'cause
molecules in the
it has your
clothes,
DNA on it.
the exactly your DNA.
My
So once
nigga.
they get something with your DNA and they burn it and do stuff, it can affect you.
reacts to me.
It's real. 'Cause
Damn.
you entangled. It's real. Magic
Yeah.
is real. That's what what's
It's
his name?
crazy though.
That's what
I never
Einstein-
saw it. I
You never heard it like
No,
that.
I never tried to picture it in this.
in those terms. But yeah, it's science.
It
Now,
is.
They know it too, but they don't come out and say that.
Because it's a part of you. It has that
It
DNA
has your
belongs to you,
DNA.
right?
So it's entangled with you. And anything
And
entangled, you can
it's
change.
quicker than the-
If I change it, it's going to change instantaneously.
Oh my God.
And that's real.
On
Even
everything.
Einstein, when they came out with quantum physics, Albert Einstein said he didn't want to believe the theory. He said, this can't be right. Albert Einstein said, it can't be right.
It can't be right.
He said, because this
It's too
is
good for
magic.
me to believe.
It alludes
acting
to
magic.
magic. He said it can't be right. He called it spooky action at a distance. Spooky action, non-local action.
Yes.
That's what it means. Spooky action at a distance.
Yes.
Non-local. That's what they proved, that nothing is local. Non-local. That means I can do something here and you at your house over there, you get affected at your house.
Man, this is why I'm saying time is a scam.
Non-local reaction.
Time is a scam, man. This is what we've been taught. These three dimensions when you say past, present, and future is a scam. Now, after you said this, I started to believe it. It's all happening at the same time, but it's just how we perceive it. It's how we relate to it, right?
It's how the simulation
Man,
wants us to perceive.
so my DNA, whatever it is,
Because you can't perceive everything. Animals can perceive certain colors we can't perceive. That dog can hear things that you can't hear. It's things in this world that different. The dog can hear and see things you can't even see.
that you can't relate, because it already has the way to deal with it. It's already calculating and seeing it in the way that our brain are not there yet. One thing that just came to my mind a few weeks ago, I was watching a documentary and they said that medical doctors, they have done research and they have found out that the DNA transformation between a parent to a kid, it doesn't only bring the character traits. Like your dad was, a good guy. He has these behaviors, the way he sits, his body structure. Not only that, it even comes with all the baggages that this nigga carried. A nigga explained it in this way. He said, you see how many people in the United States of America that are dealing with trauma which they have never related to since the day they were born. And they ask themselves, where did this come from? I don't know. Out of nowhere, I just woke up and I feel sad. These are the ancestral DNA that are coming with everything that those people witnessed and lived with. That it's been less than 200 years.
Still entangled.
Since slavery, right?
You've been entangled to the past. You might be entangled to the past.
Now, after you told me about this DNA connection, right? It makes sense, because these doctors, they say, one of the doctors tried to talk about this 30 years ago, and they even kicked him out of the whole group. They say, you know what, you insane. The DNA cannot carry the emotions and the feelings of the previous person. But now today, they came to a conclusion that it does.
Again, yeah.
So what we call curses and blessings, it is not only curses, it's not curses and blessings. This is in a theological way, right? Or of looking at it.
It's
but
written in your DNA.
In a philosophical way, it is in your DNA. It's your DNA. What your parents
That's
did.
what I told him. That's what the Bible say, for the sins of the father.
Facts, man.
You writing karma in your DNA. You writing karma for your kids in your DNA.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's coming for. That's why
coming.
they say I will deal with your children. In the Bible, God says your children will pay for your sins up to the 7th generation. So the DNA is carrying everything that you deal with.
It's carrying your sins.
Man, we better start looking at
Carrying
it.
your karma. I thought about that. I said, man, I've been acting better now. I said my son probably got that bad.
Oh, you think so?
I was thinking about the stuff when
Good man and bad man.
That's why they say. That's why they say older people that have kids, the kids are different. They're
Facts.
different. The kids, you might have learned some more stuff when you was older.
Mm.
That was better. They say the kids are always different when you have them when you're
As you
older.
see, exactly, as you grow.
They're a little different. But
From the firstborn to the lastborn.
yeah.
Man, but this is coming back to what you just said. Your DNA is your DNA. So the atom, the entanglement of these atoms, right, of these molecules, they are so fast that even before you even think that you're going to react to it, it's already happened. Yeah. So that's why these people are requesting you to have, the voodoo people are requesting for you to have somebody's picture, somebody's cross.
But they might don't know how it works, but it's really science. It's science. It's how reality
This
works.
crazy though.
Magic is reality, man.
This is crazy though.
And if you think about it too, if you start talking about entanglement, the guy said, one scientist said, all the molecules in the world are entangled. They call it the Big Bang.
Yes,
they call it when the
Bang.
Big Bang,
Hit.
when everything's spread out, the molecules. There's still a certain amount of entanglement in the molecules.
There's still
so
part
that's
of
why
one.
you got to think about the laws of karma. If the laws of karma and these laws,
Man,
they have to do with entanglement. Because you got to think about, look, if we entangle, like the molecules we touch, or hair and my DNA has become entangled with yours, or something we touch, we're supposed to be entangled once you touch. Yeah. When you touch a molecule, a certain amount of entanglement.
Exactly.
Going on.
It becomes
so if we're entangled and I do something to you, something's going to happen to me.
You. Exactly. Like
that explains karma. It explains karma.
Nice,
when you do something to somebody, they say that shit come back, you get the karma come back on you.
If I'm holding an electric cable, and if it has a charge, it's going to get to you.
It's going to get me if I touch it. So if we entangle and I do something to you, you look around, something got to happen to me.
What goes around comes around.
We were entangled. So once you do something to one molecule, the other molecule.
It will
that would explain karma.
How it goes around.
Exactly. It would explain karma. So you got to think about these laws and stuff and put them into perspective with some things come on. Just like the Hermetic, have you heard of Hermes?
Hermes? Yeah, I've heard some about Hermes.
Principles and stuff. And you take some of those laws, and
you apply it to your daily.
Some of those laws are real good to think about, because as above, so below. That's a Hermetic law.
Facts.
As above, so below. So as within, so is out. So your inside, what you thinking about, your emotions, it's going to project on the outside. Your whole outside world is going to be like your inside world.
May come into what you said a few minutes ago, that if I'm not looking at something, it is not there. It's not rendering until I become a part of it, right? Yeah. That's why they say that you can create your own reality. See, if you focus to it, right, it's going to happen. It's going to come into existence, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A guy once asked a question. There is a paradox. A guy once said that a tree falling in the forest and there is nobody to hear. Does it make a sound? Exactly. It doesn't.
It says, no, it don't make a sound.
You got to be there.
The tree didn't even fall. It wasn't even no tree there.
There wasn't even a tree to fall. Oh, okay.
There to fall. So if you talk about what you just say, you just mentioned
you got to create your own reality by being a part of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about when all that manifestation stuff.
Exactly. That's what manifestation works.
Exactly. That's why I told somebody the reason why you can manifest, because it's illusion.
It's not illusion there.
Anyway.
You're rendering it to reality.
So you can manifest. That's why Jesus said, look, he said, if you believe that mountain will move, that motherfucker got to get up and move.
He got to go.
He said, if you got the faith that mountain to move, it's got to get up and move. Why did he say that? People don't understand why he said that. Know why he was saying that?
Because you bring
this illusion. And because the spiritual world, the quantum world, is over. It's over the reality. It supersedes this physical reality.
It's where everything takes
That's what he's saying. That this shit, it's an illusion. It supersedes the physical reality. That's why Jesus said, if that mountain, if you make that mountain move, you think that mountain going to move, that mountain got to get up.
He got to go. Because you creating your own reality.
Because you creating your own reality.
Until
he was telling you the whole time what was going on. But people don't, they think the faith, but they don't understand what's the name. Just like I was telling dude, phones. Even you talk about phone. Now we talk about a cell phone.
Yeah.
the signal will go all the way across the world. Think about that. We can't even see the signal. Think about that.
Yo, G, but you forgot what you just said. Now you contradicting yourself. It's not around the world, it's here.
You're right. Exactly. You're right. It's here. That's why it's here. That's why it's good. But if you think about that,
it's moving.
The cell phones are based on quantum physics. That's when they started figuring out quantum physics. That's how the technology, that's why I said in a certain time, it just jumped up. All the technology started coming. When they started figuring out physics, quantum physics, things about these molecules, in the Heisenberg theory and the 50-50 chance here, and Schrodinger cat and all these experiments they was doing, when they started figuring out, that's when cell phones and stuff started coming about. So cell phones are based, all that stuff is based on quantum physics. So you got to think, if cell phones are based on quantum physics, you going into the spiritual world. The
actual reality.
The unseen world is
what the reality is about.
So the fucking cell phones is magic. Just like quantum physics, like Einstein said, spooky action at a distance, which is magic. So if you start thinking about cell phones, I told one dude that, he said, no, it's technology. It's technology. I said, no, you got to think this stuff is based on the unseen world.
Exactly.
When you start going into atoms and physics, you're going in the spiritual world. You're getting closer to God.
And that's
when
everywhere.
you start going to atoms and molecules, things we can't see, you're getting closer to God.
That's
you're
what they call alignment.
The spiritual world. So them phones, that technology is based on stuff coming out the spiritual world. It's based on atoms, unseen things. That shit is magic. If you would have took it back in the day, if we would have took it to a caveman and said, look, caveman, but that shit magic.
What you trying to do?
Yeah, he was at, you see movies when you go to medieval times, they be like, oh, that's magic. He doing magic.
Nice,
that's what it is, man.
Yo, G, but this shit is spooky though. Let me tell you why you spooky. I've always known it and I've always seen it, but I've never experienced it as I am right now, you know, because I started to see things that all is connected. I've always known everything is connected, but to a certain point now, I'm seeing the reason why most of the time when I meet people, I'm a people person. You know, I like to talk to a lot of people, but at a certain point, there's some people I meet even from a distance before I even get introduced to them, and I feel like I don't want to know these motherfuckers.
Because you can feel it.
And later on, let's say a week, a month, a year, I will find out the reason why I didn't want to know about this nigga. Because there was a certain energy that he lives with that that doesn't work with me, right? Yeah. But I didn't know this before though, right? Yeah. And then when people talk about the dreams, things that people have, dreams that people have, right? Yeah. You say whenever you dream, you're not in this reality, right? Yeah. Your conscious mind is off, right? Yeah. Now you're dealing with something greater than what you are used to, right? Yeah. In this 3D world that we see, right? Yeah. That's why most of things that people say that happen and they're magical came from out of these dreams. Right. And now I'm getting it because what you're saying is true. All this is connected. All you have to do is connect to it.
Connect.
And once you connect to it, it makes sense. That's what I was asking you earlier.
Yeah, you connected some of it.
That's why I was asking you earlier that how did somebody out of nowhere, out of thin air, he said, you know what, I need something that I've never heard of.
And some of them get the idea from dreams.
See.
Some even I think Einstein called it Jenkins, which is thought experiments. He used to have thought experiments. He would imagine things in his head. We called them experiments in his brain. He would just think of something. But some people say they had dreams and stuff. They pull it out of their dreams. I done pull songs out of my dream.
No.
Like when I be in my dream, sometimes I dream I'm doing a song in my dream. And it'll be a new song. Sometimes I'll pull a whole song out my dream.
See, but that's crazy. That's crazy because when you get to think about it, it puts you in the place where you now understand things from better than right now. Something is happening to my mind because I'm seeing things and I'm understanding that all is been here. All of these things has been here. If you talk about how Graham Bell came up with an idea of a telephone, if you've never knew that you can do this, how do you come up with this idea? No, there was a DNA molecule for somebody who knew that this existed before that was connecting to you. And you say, well, you know what? We can do this. Ideas don't pop out of nowhere, right? Yeah. Like they gotta be based on something, right? So if they are based on something that has never existed, then they can't exist, right? Yeah. But in order for them to exist, you have to have a thought that already
this is a possible
happened,
thing,
right? So these niggas who came up with telephone, let's say the simplicity is telephone, right? Graham Bell sitting in his household and saying, you know what, I want to talk to somebody who's not here. How do you want to talk about? We've always known as humans, you talk to those that you can see. So how do you say, you know what, I want to talk to somebody that's not sitting with me. I want to have a conversation with somebody that's not here. We know we can write letters. Letters will find somebody and they will read it and they will understand the message that we wanted to pass on. But you saying, I want to have this in a moment with somebody that I can't see. So we no longer disturbed by the idea of something not being here but also being here at the same time. Because he's not here but he's here. You're talking to him. So how did he come up with this and it didn't freak him out? Because if he freaked him out, he would have let the idea go, right? But he's connecting to the DNA. They say that, but you got to see this. He's connecting to the DNA molecule of those that came before him. Because this technology was there before. When you look at the pyramids, they say people were communicating.
Even if it wasn't on this universe, it might have been in another universe that we connected to.
What you were saying, that molecule had to travel to connect to the DNA that is inside him for him to feel okay with having this idea.
Because God knows everything is possible. He knows everything is possible. And that's another thing you got to think about, the programming. Everything has been programmed for a reason. And how things interact, you already know had to be a creation. Somebody created it.
Exactly.
That's how things interact, how DNA works, how light, and he wrote everything out. Everything was wrote out. Because if everything wasn't wrote out, two things, if we put oxygen and this thing together, certain things will appear. If he had to write everything out, I ain't even gonna say write everything out. He had to create everything so you could understand everything. And we talking about everything connected. A scientist now, one of the top scientists, he was saying that everything is connected, right? That's what you're saying. All the molecules, everything is connected from the Big Bang. Once things separated, everything's still connected.
The
whole world is
still
still
a web.
connected. That's why it's
still a web.
It's a web. Even they call string theory. That's sort of part. Everything is
they
connected.
got to be something.
Everything's connected. You do something to one thing, you look around, it comes back to you. It's gonna come back to you. So if this what this scientist said, he said, now this science is coming up now, and he said, if you this is about what you was just saying. He said, feel. He said every molecule has information from every other molecule. Every atom has information from every atom.
True.
So in my atom, I got information what's in your atoms. In my atoms, I got information what's in the sun. So it said every atom has the information of the other atom.
They communicate.
That's why he said you feel. That's why you said you got the feeling about him.
Exactly.
Because your atoms know. It knows what you need to do.
It's
it knows what you
reacting
don't
to.
need to do.
Exactly.
That's why you get feelings. You get certain feelings because it's telling you, nah, don't do that.
That's why empathy is possible.
Exactly. And
being able to.
Like my grandmama told me, she had a dream about a woman with a snake. She had a dream about a woman and a snake, and the next day the woman brought her food. She had a dream she was a snake, and the next day the woman brought her food over to the house. And my grandma was like, she told the kid, don't eat that. Don't eat that. But that's what your DNA
is reacting to,
telling you
what's coming,
what's going on, because it knows everything.
It's a link. It's a link chain, man.
It's a smart world.
Across the universe.
It's a smart world.
That's why no matter what part of the world you come out of, you're not surprised to see somebody reacting in a certain way that is humane. Let's say you find somebody eating. Nobody ever told you other people eat. That's how niggas traveled from Europe, knowing that there might be other humans across the ocean. And they say, you know what, I want to know, having a feeling, I want to connect to those other people. Because they knew something was telling them inside that there is a land. Because if all you see is ocean, how the hell you going to come up with an idea that there's going to be another planet? There's going to be another continent, right? Yeah. But there's going to be there because something in you is connecting to what's there.
Yeah.
So you know for sure this has to happen.
You feel something over there. You already feel it.
Man, now my questions have been answered when what I was asking earlier, saying that how can you learn something from thin air? You know, like people coming out with technology that has never existed. No, like they say, nothing is new under the sun. Exactly, it happened before. Now it is being again taught through the DNA of those of your
DNA,
from your descendant.
Yeah, ain't no telling where it's coming from. DNA, it's coming from there, it's coming from other universes, maybe.
Exactly,
it's
man.
Coming from everywhere.
That spiritual world, you're talking about. I once had a story of this monk in the Himalaya, right? They said that this guy, he would sit. He'd been meditating for some time, and he got to the point where, you know, when they meditate in the same spot for a minute, right? So they don't move around a lot, right? So he's been inside the temple for a while. This guy lost his eyesight, right? So when he lost his eyesight, people thought that, okay, this nigga is limited. But he was not. Because whenever he got up and he went through town, he walked like as if he had sight. He would not even trip on a tiny stone on the road. He knew everything by memory. He knew people's voices. He would talk to him and he would say, "Oh, I know you. How you been? How is your family?" With zero mistakes. And whenever kids wanted to come to the temple to talk to him, he would be like, "I know you. Why are you here?" Zero sound. They didn't say nothing, but he knew that they were around. And it got to the point where I started to wonder, how does a human being get to this certain level? But it is because he's on a spiritual level that this 3D world that we live in, it has no limits to him. Because all those that are connected through the spiritual, they give guidance.
The information is there.
The information is being passed to him.
You can tap into it.
Exactly, like he's already tapped to another level, to the point that nothing can hinder his movement. You know, and people were saying that they would throw a stone at him, and whenever they throw a stone at him, and he will move. He said, "I knew from the minute you hold the stone, I knew you had a stone in your hand." And at a certain point, it used to freak me out. I used to be like, "How can this be possible?" But now, as you were talking about it, there is a connection. Every single living cell is connected to the other.
Every single one.
That's why they say keep planting more plants. You know, because these also are part of our DNA. You know, they help you to maneuver. You know, if you are immersed in this reality, in this 7-dimension world, even these plants become a part of it. You know, they will heal you. That's why when I saw on TV a woman saying that human beings were not meant to get sick, I was like, I don't know what she's talking about, we humans. But she's right. Because everything that you need not to get sick is around you. But you have to tap in. The same way we've tapped into going from black and white TV to all this color to Ultra HD. How did we get to the point where we can clear a picture that when you look at it, you feel like you're a part of it? People used to look at the most fucked up image, and they will still say, you know what? Okay, this is the basic end. Whose idea was it? This has to be improved. Because somebody before did it, and the ideas and the messages and the information is being passed through you even without knowing, but you feel like I can't get enough. I need to evolve because it doesn't end here. Because we've seen before where people get to the point where they say it ends here. Because there is nothing next to it, right? But why is it that most people keep progressing? They progress because that information that is being passed on to them, it is saying it doesn't end here. You got to be bigger than this, right? All these. Why is Elon want to go to Mars? Somebody went there. Gee, I'm telling you. Somebody, he's not
they
satisfied.
even said they seen heads on Mars one time. I know you heard that. They said they seen faces, but they said they had faces on Mars. But they said some people said that, but
you know,
it was probably people on Mars. The people on Mars might be the people here. It might have been people on Mars before it was on Earth. But Mars people might have traveled to Earth. How you doing?
But this what free this
burnt out.
This is going make it clear to you that we actually in a simulation. It's not longer even about a probability or is it true or is it not true. It is really a simulation. But until you get to the point where the simulation feels like, okay, you have passed the level that you are into. If we leave you here, you're going to keep circling around these people. So you need to see more. And then you get all this information. But it is a simulation. Not everybody in the game gets to all the levels. Few ones who are persistent keep pushing no matter how many times the game says you failed, he keep pushing.
Go ahead. That's like you get to a Buddha, even a Buddha or a Jesus. They went through all the levels. Some people said John was Jesus reincarnated. That certain Christian sects used to believe in reincarnation.
And Buddha was a prince though.
Some of them believed in reincarnation. And that's what they say, you got to be reborn and you get higher. You learn each time.
You keep going, right?
Now, if you think about assimilation, that would make sense.
It will.
It would make sense.
It is. Because how
you
is it
keep
that
learning because you can't go ahead.
exactly? How is it that these people, these Elans, are not satisfied with how far they have reached? He's telling people, I need to colonize Mars. And to a certain point, you can think, okay, what's the difference between him and a nigga in a insane asylum? Because the nigga in a insane asylum is going to tell you, I'm the president of the United States of America, but he's not, right? And they're going to put him in insane asylum for that reason, because they don't believe that what he says is who he is, right?
And not to cut you off, but real quick,
No.
schizophrenia, that's like certain crazy people. They say really them people are intelligent. They say they might be tapping into other universes.
Yeah,
really.
and they see things.
Tapping into we just on a different frequency, but you think the crazy people are crazy, but they might be more intelligent than you.
I'm telling you,
tapping
man,
into different things.
I've been telling people there is no such thing as a crazy human being. Because he's telling you, my reality, it is not your reality. But it doesn't make his reality not reality. It is real to him. Because when you tell him, stop believing in your reality, he will tell you, I'd rather do everything to keep my reality. Because to him, it makes sense, right? If he says, I can see 3 people, I'm having a conversation with 3 people on the road, he can.
Hey, the motherfucking brain, like I said, the brain ain't even there, man. Think about, we talk about brains and heart, but they say if you're not looking, none of that stuff
it's not there.
It's not
Yeah,
there.
but
That's something to think about.
Yeah, it's what you were saying, like how in the game it has to render. Like until you get to that part of the game, it doesn't exist. You know, even people remember whenever you hear the CD rotating, right? Until you hit to that spot, like until you get to that part of the game, the CD is not going to do anything, right? So like this is a simulation, because whenever you feel yourself, like, you know, whenever you wake up in the morning, you say, I need to see this spot. I need to go to see this place. I have to travel. I have to see this new place. To you, that place never existed before. So that's why you have the intention of wanting to go to that place to discover, right? You didn't create it, because once you're there, it will be there, right? So it is a simulation. It is a simulation. But now you have to understand how we started. How can we flip the simulation? How can we make the simulation work for us? Is when you start to tell the difference between perception and perspective, right? Because once you lean, or you choose to lean on your perception of life every single day, then your whole idea of this reality is going to be limited. You know, because this is all you've ever known. Our own mind are limited until we get to talk to other people. That's why when you become social, when you socialize with other people, you get to peek in, you get to obtain this
other
knowledge,
exactly,
that you never know before. Otherwise, and on the other side, the perspective, it is whenever, let's say I get to buy a car, I go to a dealer shop, right? And I say, you know what, I need to buy a car. Before I left, I know I had the idea of wanting to buy a car, right? And my perception is telling me this is how you're gonna play the dealer, right? Okay, you might negotiate about the price. You might talk about the size of the car. You might trick him for him to give you this car on the low, right? Mm-hmm. But once you get there, the idea of perspective is what you don't know is that the dealer, that guy who works there, right? The salesperson has seen hundreds of you.
Yeah.
He knows how a human being reacts to a certain word, to a certain offer, and he's going to give you things that will always bring you back to that topic. You need to buy a car, because in reality, he has to sell 100 cars. He has a number of cars that he has to sell in the day, right? So he has the perspective of how people think, on how customers react, right? Yeah. So he will tell you, you need leather seat. You need a car with a leather seat that can heat up or can cool up, depending on the weather condition that you live in. So once he's telling you this, you will feel like, okay, so if I need a car with the leather seat, and the only one that they have has a cooler and a heater, right?
Yeah.
Then I should pick that one. So he has a broad understanding of how we think. So he will offer all this, right? So once you put in your mind that I need to start living with the perspective of how things work, right? Not the perception, not holding on to what I know, but how others react to it. But remember, we have to separate perspective from sympathy or empathy.
Okay.
I don't have to feel what you feel, right? Let's say, for example, if I say I have to put myself in your place.
Okay.
I don't need to feel how you will feel when you get fired. I don't have to feel that pain of you. I don't have to feel the pain of you doing 100 push-ups and having sore body, right? But I have to see and understand what is that going to do to you.
Yeah.
So that's the perspective. It is not empathy. Empathy is me feeling what you're feeling, right? Seeing your cat or your dog die and then be like, I understand. I used to have a cat, so I can feel the pain that you're feeling, right? That's empathy. That's not perspective. But perspective is sitting and seeing the world displayed, the world or the idea or the thinking of all those that's around you and taking it in, right? That's why every spy, all the good spies, deal with perspective, not with perception, because they learn to mimic, they learn to understand and to see how others work and feel and sleep and eat, and they use it against them. So once, in order to flip the simulation, you have to see what is it that works for these people and what doesn't, right? How can I find an open, right? And not go through what's going to put me in danger, but still get to where I need to go. I need to find a shortcut, right? But in order for you to find a shortcut, you have to see how people think. You have to understand how people deal with the day-to-day life, right? That's the perspective, right? So I believe that once you have a perspective of life, right, you can be able to maneuver this simulation and get to where you need to be. All these big deal people got there because they stopped using their perception. Because once you're only dealing with your perception, your whole vision is limited, right? Because this is all you know, right? If I've never tasted an ice cream, I cannot tell you how an ice cream.
You can't perceive.
The feeling. Yes, I can perceive the feeling an ice cream gives you, right? But if I watch somebody eating an ice cream, I can take in their reaction to having that ice cream, right?
And get some perspective on it.
Exactly. And then if I move in a certain way, right, I will find myself in the place telling people what my favorite ice cream is. Even though I've not eaten it, because I have watched somebody eat it and I saw how they reacted to it. So if I mimic what I saw, then everybody else is going to believe I've eaten the ice cream, right? And this is how I am going to be able to maneuver through this arranged world that we live in, right? And then this is going to give me an upper hand, right? So if I don't know how to drive a car, if I've never been on a plane, but if I see people, how they react when they're sitting on a plane, what they do, they buy a ticket, they go there, they wear a seatbelt. When their legs get tired, they do this and this, all these motion sickness, whatever, right? I will lean in and I will obtain all this information and I will use the perspective of it to tell somebody that I have been on the plane. If I get to be on the plane, I'm not going to be like somebody who's never known anything about a plane, because I've seen and I've heard from people who's been on the plane. I know what's coming. So nothing is going to be new to me.
Not going to be new, yeah.
And you can maneuver this simulation.
That's what they say, fake it till you make it somewhat. But
see, another thing. Another thing.
Look, the dude that one of the scientists we're talking about the simulation, or we're talking about non-local reality not being locally real. He was talking about us wearing a headset. He said we might, just like a VR headset, he said it could be, he called this perception a headset.
Yes, as a headset.
How we perceive it, this is a headset on our head. That's what the scientist is calling it. Now the thing I'm saying is, if it's a headset, he's saying it could be somewhere else. The real us could be somewhere else with a headset on. Yeah. And we experience just like a VR game.
It becomes your new reality.
This reality. And you don't know it. He said when you die, you might wake up and take a headset off.
God damn it. I can't wait, by the way. I can't wait. One of the things.
But check this out. The thing is, when these people start making technology based on these theories, that's what it's going to be. That's what the guy said. He said, if we can figure the headset, he says going beyond the headset, going beyond this reality we experiencing, this 3D reality.
Yes.
He said, if we can get beyond the headset, that's what they're trying to write theories to get beyond this reality, beyond the headset.
Yes.
He said, if we can get beyond this reality, this headset, we can make roads. You can be running and we can put a road in your way. He said we could change. He said if a bus coming, we could change the bus. If we can get beyond this,
turn that bitch into a
that.
Lambo.
Think about that. If they can create technology based on these theories, that's what you're going to.
But the power, though, my question becomes the power to render this into reality. You have to understand it's something that I don't even think human can comprehend. The power that can render this new reality to what we seek to, right? Like you have to be on God level. I'm saying that you have to be on God level for you to have this power in order to render somebody's reality and change it and flip it, even if it might be a microsecond. Yeah. That's a single reality. But in order to evolve,
that's what they talking about, going beyond the headset. And like you said, that's God-like ability.
Introduce feel, because today we can wear headsets, right? Yeah. But you can't feel the taste.
Yeah.
Right? Introduce the taste.
Yeah,
right?
They want to change that.
Yeah, like let's say you're talking to somebody and you can also feel how they smell. You can smell them. Yeah. Today you can only hear the voices. If you look at somebody in the screen, you can talk to somebody on the FaceTime, right? But all you see is the image, right? You can see the movement. But what if you can feel what they're feeling? Yeah. What if you can react
smell
to their feeling?
What you can smell
that's power.
On the screen, feel it.
That's power. But all that comes with consequences, right? Yeah. Because if all this is put in the wrong hands, right? That's how the first civilization disappeared. That's how I believe.
But that's what you gotta. That's one thing you gotta think. If you don't take nothing from this, one thing you gotta take from this conversation is you do not know.
Baby, I'm a good man, I'm a bad man. Baby, I'm a good man, I'm a bad man.